She loves you. She swore she'd never hurt you. But one day, you'll look into her eyes and realize she's already gone, long before she ever leaves. That's how it starts. Not with lies, not with another man's touch, but with a feeling she can't explain. The sparkle fades. The silence stretches. The laughter stops. And the woman who used to crave you now looks at you like a stranger she's trying to remember. You'll blame yourself. You'll think maybe you stopped trying. Maybe life got too busy. But the truth? It's deeper than that. It's biological, chemical, predictable, because the beginning of every love story isn't love. It's intoxication. Her brain's on fire, flooded with dopamine and desire, painting you as perfection. But when the chemical high fades, her mind starts searching for it again, even if it means tearing her world apart to feel alive once more. Every man thinks he's safe, until he isn't. Every good woman thinks she's immune, until she meets the right spark at the wrong time. So before you point fingers, before you think this could never happen to you, listen, because what's coming next will expose the truth about why women cheat and what really goes on inside their minds when they do. What nobody tells you about love is that it's not really love, not at first. It's a high, the kind that hijacks your brain, floods your body, and makes you believe you've finally found the one. Every text feels electric. Every kiss feels like a spark. Every moment together feels like destiny. But what you're actually feeling isn't soul connection. It's chemistry. When two people fall in love, their brains release a drug cocktail: dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, all mixing into one intoxicating rush. It's not poetry. It's neuroscience. Your brain lights up the same way it does when someone wins the lottery, takes a hit of cocaine, or drinks for the first time after a bad day. It's that powerful. It's that addictive. And here's where it gets dangerous. Because when you're in that phase, you're not falling for a person. You're falling for the chemicals that person triggers in you. You think you're addicted to them, but really you're addicted to how you feel around them. That's why every touch feels electric. That's why you can talk for hours without noticing time pass. That's why you can't sleep, can't eat, can't stop thinking about them. It's not magic, it's dopamine. But like any drug, it fades. The body can't stay high forever. After 6 months, a year, maybe 2 if you're lucky, the brain starts to normalize. The fireworks turn into embers. The constant thrill becomes routine. The little habits that once felt adorable now feel annoying. The same dinners, the same conversations, the same person. It all begins to feel ordinary. That's the moment when most relationships quietly start to die. Not because the love is gone, but because the chemicals have changed. Her brain isn't flooded with dopamine anymore. It's switched to oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the one that builds families, stability, trust. But here's the cruel twist. Oxytocin doesn't feel exciting. It feels calm, safe, predictable. And for many women, predictable feels like something's wrong. She starts to wonder, why don't I feel that spark anymore? Did I choose the wrong man? Maybe I fell out of love. But she didn't fall out of love. Her brain simply came down from the high. What she calls boredom is just biology doing its job. The problem is, nobody ever explained that to her. Movies, love songs, and Instagram make us believe real love means constant passion. That if you are not obsessed, if you don't have butterflies, something's missing. So when the calm sets in, she panics. She compares how she feels now to how she felt then, and assumes the relationship is broken. That's when she starts noticing every flaw: the weight gain, the stress, the dullness, the silence. None of it is new. It's just louder now that the noise of chemistry is gone. And in that quiet, her brain starts scanning for stimulation again. It's not intentional. It's instinct. The human brain craves novelty, the new, the exciting, the unknown. So when someone smiles at her at work, or laughs at her joke, or remembers something she said, her brain lights up again. A small flicker of dopamine, a taste of the drug she's been missing. It doesn't even have to be physical. Sometimes it's just a message, a glance, a moment that reminds her what it felt like to be wanted, to be fascinating, to be alive. And suddenly, she's paying attention again, just not to her husband. She starts dressing differently, checking her phone a little more, lingering on conversations that should have ended minutes ago. She tells herself it's harmless, just being friendly. But her brain doesn't care about her intentions. It only knows that this new interaction feels good, and it wants more. That's how it starts. Not with a kiss, not with a secret meeting, but with chemistry. Tiny hits of dopamine that grow into dependency. And before she even realizes it, she's emotionally attached to someone new while still living under the same roof. The truth is, this isn't about morality. It's about biology, about how our brains are wired for survival, not lifelong thrill. The high of new love was never meant to last. It's designed to pull two people together long enough to bond and reproduce. After that, the body transitions from dopamine to oxytocin, from passion to partnership. That shift is natural, healthy, even necessary. But in a culture addicted to stimulation, to chasing highs and chasing validation, that shift feels like death. So she starts chasing the high again. Not because she doesn't love him, but because she doesn't understand what's happening inside her own head. She thinks something's broken. She thinks she's broken. But it's not her heart that's confused. It's her chemistry. And if she doesn't know how to recognize that, she'll spend her life jumping from one high to the next, mistaking excitement for love, mistaking stability for boredom, and mistaking biology for destiny. That's the real danger. Because when she finally gives in to the rush again, when she finds someone new who makes her feel alive, it won't be about the man. It'll be about the feeling. And when that feeling fades again, the same story will play out all over. Different face, same pattern, same ending. Love isn't a constant high. It's a cycle. And the ones who understand that, who learn to stay when the butterflies die, who see peace as proof of love, not the death of it, those are the ones who make it. The rest? They keep chasing dopamine until there's nothing left to lose but everything they built. If this made you see love a little differently, don't stop here. Hit subscribe, because the truth about relationships isn't what you've been told. And the next episode will open your eyes even wider. Keep learning before another illusion costs you something real. It never starts with betrayal. It starts with curiosity. A glance that lasts a second too long. A smile that feels a little different. A conversation that somehow feels lighter than the ones at home. Nothing serious, nothing wrong. Just a flicker of energy that wakes something she thought was gone. That flicker is dopamine, tiny, invisible, and dangerous. It's the same chemical that once made her heart race when she first met you. The same chemical that now whispers, "Remember this? Remember how alive you used to feel?" At first, she ignores it. Then she starts waiting for it. That casual chat with the coworker, that joke from the guy at the gym, that moment of attention that makes her stand a little taller, check her reflection twice. It's innocent, Or at least that's what she tells herself. She's not cheating. She's just feeling like herself again. But the brain doesn't understand boundaries. It only understands reward. Each small interaction, each ping of validation, releases another microdose of dopamine. Her mind starts connecting that person to the feeling of excitement, youth, possibility. The same way a drug user connects a needle to relief. And slowly, without realizing it, she's hooked. Meanwhile, at home, everything feels dull in comparison. Routine dinners, familiar conversations, predictable affection. The same life that once felt safe now feels suffocating. Not because it changed, but because her brain has a new source of stimulation. Soon she's checking her phone more often, hoping for that message. She laughs louder when he's around. She puts more effort into her hair, her outfit, her smile. She feels seen again, desired, wanted, and it feels intoxicating. The irony is, she doesn't even want him. She wants the version of herself she becomes around him, the version that feels alive, spontaneous, unpredictable. This is the trap every dopamine chase creates. It makes you believe you've rediscovered passion, when all you've done is re-enter the chemical high you once had with your partner. The cycle repeats. The brain doesn't care about the person, it cares about the rush. And the more she feeds it, the more it demands. The conversations that used to feel harmless now feel personal. She starts sharing things she shouldn't. How unhappy she's been, how misunderstood, how she just needs someone to talk to. He listens, empathizes, compliments. Each word is another hit, another layer of emotional intimacy that doesn't belong to him. This is where the line begins to blur. It's not physical yet, but emotionally, the affair has already started. Every secret she keeps from her partner is a small betrayal dressed as self-protection. She tells herself, "I'm not doing anything wrong." But if she had to hide it, she already knows she is. Modern life makes this worse. Social media hands out attention like candy. A simple post, a like, a flirty comment, a DM from someone who shouldn't matter. Each one is a microdose of dopamine waiting behind a screen. And because it feels safe, no physical touch, no public risk. It feels harmless, but it's not harmless. It's a chemical pipeline straight into the reward center of her brain. The problem is that novelty always wins in the short term. The unknown will always beat the familiar. The what if will always beat the what is. And the more she feeds that fantasy, the less satisfying real life becomes. Suddenly, her husband's flaws feel bigger. His silence feels colder. His love feels like obligation. That's when she starts rewriting history. She tells herself maybe she never really loved him. Maybe they married too young. Maybe she settled. These thoughts aren't clarity. They're chemical justifications. Her brain is rewriting the story to protect its new addiction. Because admitting she's chasing a high would ruin the illusion that this new connection is special, meaningful, fate. The truth is brutal. The same brain that once convinced her that her partner was her soulmate now convinces her that he never was. And once that shift happens, everything else becomes inevitable. Soon, the harmless texts turn into private jokes. The private jokes turn into late-night conversations. The late-night conversations turn into, "We should probably stop talking like this," which always turns into, "I can't stop thinking about you." By the time the first physical touch happens, the emotional betrayal has already hollowed out her marriage. And here's what most men never see. By the time she crosses that line, she's already justified it. She's told herself the relationship is dead, that she deserves to feel alive again, that this connection is real. But it's not real. It's a chemical illusion repeating itself. Every affair begins as a solution to boredom and ends as another routine. The rush always fades. The fantasy always breaks. The same chemicals that bonded her to her husband now bond her to the new man. And then they fade again. Different face. Same ending. It's a pattern written in biology. The female brain is wired to crave novelty, but built to survive on stability. When she confuses one for the other, chaos follows. And in a world where dopamine is always one click away, that confusion is destroying more relationships than anyone wants to admit. So no, infidelity doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in the brain. With one spark, one message, one moment that feels harmless, until it isn't. Until it's the match that burns down everything she swore she'd protect. By the time a woman crosses the line, it's rarely about sex. It's about identity. About the version of herself she lost somewhere between responsibility and routine. With her husband, she's the caretaker, the scheduler, the mother, the one who holds everything together. But with someone new, she becomes someone else. Mysterious, desirable, unpredictable. For a few stolen moments, she gets to feel like the woman she used to be. Or maybe the woman she's always wanted to be. That's what most men don't understand. She's not cheating on you. She's cheating on her own life. She's chasing the version of herself that disappeared under the weight of bills, dishes, and expectations. And that chase can feel intoxicating enough to make her forget everything she could lose. It's not rational. It's chemical. It's emotional. It's her brain trying to recreate the spark that once made her feel alive. She doesn't want a new man. She wants a new mirror, one that reflects a version of herself that doesn't feel numb. Some women become addicted to that chase. They may never cross the physical line, but they're always searching for emotional validation. A message here, a smile there, a little attention from someone new. It becomes their quiet addiction, harmless on the surface, deadly underneath. They tell themselves they're just being friendly, but every interaction is a hit of dopamine. Every compliment is a rush. Every glance is another reminder that they still have it. Over time, these women build what I call an emotional portfolio. The gym buddy who flirts just enough, the coworker who listens a little too closely, the ex who occasionally checks in, the neighbor who always seems available to help. Each man fills a different emotional role, a different flavor of validation. None of them matter individually, but together they feed the system, keeping her ego alive, her boredom at bay, her brain stimulated just enough to avoid facing the truth. The truth is that she's lost touch with herself, with stillness, with contentment. She doesn't know how to sit in peace because peace feels like emptiness. Her nervous system has been trained for intensity, raised on drama, chaos, and high emotion. So calm love feels wrong. It feels like something's missing. That's why she creates storms, to feel alive again. You'll see it in her patterns long before she cheats. She quits jobs when she's bored. She ghosts friends when things get complicated. She abandons projects when they stop being fun. It's not about morals. It's about tolerance. She has a low tolerance for emotional stillness. And when a relationship stops giving her the chemical fireworks she craves, she goes looking for them somewhere else. The most dangerous ones are the women who know this about themselves, but refuse to change. They understand the pattern. They can even describe it. I get bored easily, they'll say. I need passion to feel alive. But instead of building self-awareness or learning discipline, they feed the addiction. They put themselves in tempting situations, tell themselves it's harmless, and then act shocked when things go too far. She takes the job with the charming boss. She joins the gym with the flirty trainer. She keeps in touch with the ex who still wants her. She travels alone, telling herself she needs space, freedom, time to think. But deep down, she's chasing that chemical hit, the same high she felt at 20 when love felt like oxygen. And when she finally falls, she tells herself, it just happened. But nothing just happens. Every affair is built on 1,000 small decisions, each one a step toward the edge, each one disguised as innocence. It's the text she shouldn't have answered, the coffee she shouldn't have agreed to, the secret she shouldn't have shared. Each act is tiny on its own, but together they form a pattern too powerful to stop once it starts. By the time she realizes how far she's gone, it's already too late. The emotional connection is real in her mind. The bond feels unbreakable. The guilt is muted by justification. I haven't been happy in years. He makes me feel alive again. Maybe this is what real love feels like. Her brain floods her with chemicals to protect the fantasy, to silence the part of her that knows she's destroying something sacred. And when she finally crosses into physical infidelity, it's not about lust. It's about validation, about proving to herself that the feeling is real, about confirming that the fantasy can exist in the real world. But the moment after, the silence, the come down, the normalcy that follows, always brings the same realization. The new man leaves his dishes in the sink too. He forgets things. He gets tired. The rush fades. The chemicals settle. And once again, she's left staring at herself, wondering how she ended up back in the same place. The tragedy isn't the act itself, it's the illusion behind it. She didn't destroy her life for love. She destroyed it for a feeling that biology was never meant to sustain. She mistook chemistry for connection, dopamine for destiny, escape for freedom. Because in the end, affairs don't solve emptiness, they multiply it. And the woman who keeps chasing that feeling eventually realizes the thing she's running from was never her husband. It was herself. What destroys most relationships isn't betrayal. It's misunderstanding. Most people don't know what real love feels like once the chemicals fade. They mistake calm for boredom, stability for stagnation. And when the dopamine rush dies, they assume the love died with it. But the truth is the opposite. The death of dopamine is not the death of love. It's the birth of it. The first stage of every relationship is a storm. The passion, the obsession, the constant craving. It's designed by nature to pull two people together. But it was never meant to last. It's only the spark that lights the fire, not the fire itself. Real love begins when the rush fades, when dopamine gives way to oxytocin, when passion evolves into peace, when you stop chasing highs and start choosing presence. It's not supposed to feel like fireworks every day. It's supposed to feel like home. But our culture doesn't teach that. It tells women that excitement equals love, that if they're not constantly thrilled, something's missing. That following your heart means walking away the moment peace replaces chaos. Every movie, every social post, every self-help quote screams the same lie. You deserve more. More excitement. More butterflies. More drama. And so they chase more, not realizing that more is just another word for temporary. They end up trading something real for something that only feels real for a moment. You can see it everywhere. Women posting quotes about self-love right before destroying the only love that ever chose them. Talking about energy, alignment, and finding themselves while breaking the hearts of people who built their lives around them. It's not empowerment. It's escapism wrapped in self-help language. And it's not just women. Men fall into the same trap, too. The difference is that women are taught to worship feelings, while men are taught to chase validation. Both end up confusing desire with depth, thrill with truth, chemistry with compatibility. The real tragedy? Most people never learn the difference. The ones who do, they look boring from the outside. They're the couples who stay home on weekends, who argue, then cook dinner together, who hold hands in silence without needing fireworks to feel alive. They've learned that peace is the prize, that love isn't proven by adrenaline, but by endurance. These couples don't panic when the high fades, because they know it's supposed to. They don't run from the quiet, because they understand that the quiet is where trust grows. They don't chase newness, because they've learned to find wonder in the familiar. They've outgrown the drug and chosen devotion. That's what emotional maturity looks like, knowing that butterflies die, but the roots they leave behind grow deeper than any rush ever could. Knowing that chemistry gets you started, but character keeps you together. Knowing that love isn't something you feel every day, it's something you build every day. Because here's the biological truth no one wants to hear. The same chemicals that once made you obsessed with your partner are now making you restless. And that's normal. It's nature's way of asking you to evolve, from passion to partnership, from craving to connection, from dopamine to oxytocin. But if you don't understand that transition, you'll think you're broken. You'll think your relationship failed. And you'll spend your life chasing a high that biology was never meant to sustain. That's why so many people end up in the same loop, falling in love, falling out, repeating the cycle, wondering why it never lasts. It's not bad luck, it's bad programming. We were taught to chase emotion instead of understanding it, to follow chemistry instead of mastering it. Love doesn't disappear. It changes form. It softens. It deepens. It becomes less about fireworks and more about foundation, less about wanting to feel something and more about choosing to be someone, loyal, steady, patient, real. And that's the hardest truth to accept. The kind of love that lasts won't always thrill you, but it will save you. The kind of relationship worth keeping isn't the one that makes your heart race. It's the one that makes your soul rest. So when the butterflies die, don't run. When it feels calm, don't panic. When the excitement fades, don't mistake it for the end. That's the moment love finally becomes real. Because passion burns bright, but peace lasts forever. And the people who understand that, the ones who stay when it's not easy, who choose love when it doesn't feel like a high anymore, they're the ones who get to keep what everyone else keeps losing.